FM94, The Dark. It is that time again. It's time to get to know a band we play here on The Dark. And this is a band, in fact, we talked with about 3 years ago. And we're talking about the band Blameshift. I'm joined right now with the lead singer, Jenny Mann. And Jenny, hard to believe it's been 3 years ago since you and I have talked. I'm sure a lot has happened, hasn't it?
Yes, I know. It's crazy. It really doesn't feel like it was that long ago that we put out that EP that we were just talking about off air, and it just doesn't feel, time just flies, and especially doing what we do in the music business, you go, spend so much time on the road, and, months just disappear and years are gone, and it's pretty crazy, but I'm glad that we got to reconnect here.
Yeah, I mean, when we talked 3 years ago, you guys had just finished up, I think, a tour, and had just recently been in Minnesota, not for a tour, but I remember you had a trip to the Mall of America. Do you remember that?
Yes. Oh, that was a lot of fun. We were with Shallow Side. We didn't play in town, but we came through and we had a day off and we had a lot of fun.
Yeah. I remember if I remember right, you were doing a little bar hopping that day, and then you did some rides too. And I asked,
yes, we did.
how you survived that, but you were young back then, I guess, right?
Right, exactly. I was super young. Just like a spring chicken.
As compared to now, right? 3 years later.
Oh yeah, we had a good time. We typically, bar hopping is always on the agenda. My guitarist Tim, he's that's his middle name is bar hopping. So yeah, we always somehow get involved in that. But we had a good time.
So let's talk about what has transpired over the last 3 years with you. Obviously, as 3 years ago, you were out on about with some bands and that, and I'm sure you've had some tours since then. Give us kind of what has happened in the last few years.
Yeah. So we put out the Heart of Stone EP. That was probably the last time we spoke, and it did really well for us. And, we did a lot of touring surrounding that EP, and Tim and I also started a business in the last 3 years.
Yes.
We started a jewelry line called Strung. We make all guitar string jewelry, and it's kind of taken off since then, big time. We are in 200 stores. We've partnered with some really big famous musicians like Dave Ellefson from Megadeth, and we're just doing a lot of stuff. We get back to music education, and that's kind of taken a forefront. We still are 100% dedicated to the band and our music, but it's also a really cool side kind of project that still keeps us in the loop of music, but allows us to even delve kind of deeper into it. So it's really cool. So we've been working on that, and then we also went out to LA over the summer. We played the last ever Vans Warped Tour, and we recorded a new song out in LA with our producer Eric Ron, who's doing awesome right now. He just he did the Godsmack newest record, so he's kind of the new hot producer. But we've been working with him since 2010, so he's a really good friend of ours. So we did a new song out in LA and just released it. It's doing really well and pretty exciting, and that's kind of what we've been doing for the last 3 years.
That's a lot in the last 3 years we just talked about. I want to touch back on your accessory sales, because I had some questions on that, because I've seen the stuff, and you bring up David Ellefson, which he is a Minnesota native, by the way. So if you didn't know that, now you do. He was born and grew up in Jackson, Minnesota, which is about 3.5, 4 hours from here. But anyway, how has that been going since, obviously when you're a young up-and-coming band, a band that, has to go basically club to club to get dollars, to have a side job like this definitely has to be something that is making you some money, right?
Yes. It's pretty crazy, because we started this as a really organic, just fun thing to do on the road, because Tim was, changing his strings every other show, and I was just bored traveling in the bus all day long, and I was like, oh, it'd be so cool to make jewelry out of this, these waste guitar strings. So I started doing it, and we'd be at Hobby Lobby and Michael's every other day, and I'd be buying all kinds of, just different charms and different things to accessorize these strings, and we'd sell them at shows, and people were just going crazy for them. I would sit at the merch table from the time, we got to the venue to the time we packed up, just making and selling bracelets. And, like, my bandmates were like, all right, Jenny, this is, like, ridiculous. Like, this is all you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, but we're making money. So
right.
what how bad could it be? So it kind of, like, when we got home from that first tour where I started making the jewelry, probably was around the time we spoke last, we're like, wait a second, I think we really might have something special here, besides just something cool to sell with our CDs and T-shirts, So we took a little bit of time off, and we really developed the brand as a real deal brand, and it's been incredible. Like, yeah, it's pretty crazy because, like, we're working with some really big artists. We just designed a bracelet for probably one of the biggest guitar players, most famous guitar players in the world.
Wow.
I can't announce it yet, but really soon we'll be announcing it. And it's just, like, the weirdest, craziest thing because, like,
right.
it's cool, though, because, like, we can kind of use our band contacts and vice versa, and it's just been, like, a blessing. Really amazing.
That is awesome. We're talking with Jenny Mann from the band Blameshift. They're a band based out of New York. And I guess for the listeners here, is there a website or something they can go to, look at this stuff, and even purchase this stuff online?
Yes. So we have a full website. It's getstrung.com. So it's GETSTRUNG, getstrung.com. We have all of our guitar string bracelets there. We do a beaded bracelet line that incorporates the ball end of a bass guitar string. Everything's inspired by a song, so you can shop by a whole playlist. And we also have our famous artist line, like the David Ellefson stuff. Actually, David posted about our jewelry today on his Instagram and his Facebook. So it's been really awesome, that whole kind of connection. And we give back to Music Cares. His jewelry gives back to Music Cares, which is a really cool organization. And we give back from every sale of, like, every piece of jewelry to music education. So, yeah, it's a full-time job, but it's really rewarding, and it's something that we, plan on growing even bigger.
Well, I was going to say, and it's something that you can take out on tour with you, too, so you can make money not only singing, but also by selling your jewelry, too.
100%. Yep. And the bigger, it's just all kind of grows together. The bigger the band gets, the more exposure Strung gets, and vice versa. So,
and obviously, really, it's a perfect time to buy stuff because it's the holiday season, right?
Yes.
So
we're doing a lot of big sales.
I suppose you're busy filling orders right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I sent out probably 100 orders today. It's been crazy. I've been at the post office. Luckily, we live across the street from the post office, so that's really amazing. But yeah, I know everybody there by their first name.
That's cool. Hey, do you think this is going to help you guys as a band maybe get out on some bigger tours, possibly?
I do, and even this summer with the Vans Warped Tour, actually Strung was a sponsor on the stage.
Nice.
That we played. So yeah, I mean, I do think that it could potentially help us get on some bigger tours and with some bigger artists and stuff like that. So, which would be amazing because, it never hurts to have connections. So,
right.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, we've talked before. What is kind of the goal for this band? What is the next step? Where would you guys like to be?
I mean, we live for being on the road. That's kind of like Tim and I were talking last night. It's so much fun running our business and everything like that. But our goal is to be able to tour full time and be able to have our business run itself, so we can make our money, but also have the fun and get to have that interaction with our fans and just be out on the road. So that's kind of like the goal for us. Just keep touring and keep putting out good music and just kind of living the rock star life on the road.
Now, the last time we talked, you had yet to play in Minnesota. Have you played in Minnesota since we talked?
That's a really great question. I don't even know. Tim, have we played in Minnesota in the last 3 years? He doesn't know either.
All righty. Well, you guys are too you were too busy bar hopping. That's why you can't
We're
remember.
Too busy bar hopping. Exactly.
Well, I tell you what.
Hopefully we'll be there soon. Hopefully in March or April.
Okay, well, I'd love to have you guys up here play. We have a couple outdoor festivals that we put on now, the radio station, and our one in June is full, but in September would be a great time maybe to have you up here.
Oh yeah, we would love to. We could bring Strong and we play and have a good old time.
Yeah. We'll chat about that off air anymore. But let's talk about your latest song called My Own Worst Enemy, which you were saying is getting some good reviews out there, and it's being loved here on The Dark. And in fact, it was a winner of the Rock of the Dark New Music Poll a few weeks back. Talk about that song and give us, I guess, the history, the lowdown of this song.
Yeah, so like I said, we recorded the song out in North Hollywood with Eric Ron in June when we were doing the Warped Tour. He's like a really busy guy these days, so we're like, Eric, can you squeeze us in? Just, we want to do one single, and we're only out here for a few days. And he had Siler, the band Siler, in the studio, and he's like, yeah, but I'll do whatever I can. Let's get it done. So we would go in early morning or really late at night, and we kind of just put all of our eggs in and did it as we kind of just went for it, and the song just was we went in with, we knew what the song was going to be, and it even exceeded our expectations, and it's a really honest song about the lyrics. The lyrical content really is about being your own worst critic and being against yourself, and but it still has a hopeful edge to it, which I try to do, because no matter how much life kind of gets you down, I always want to show that there's positivity and hope in the future. So I'm really proud of this song. It's doing really well. The radio stations all around the country seem to be loving it, and I'm proud of it.
Have you had a chance to play it live yet or not?
Yes. We played it one time on our Halloween show. It's pretty funny because we don't live in the same state. Tim and I live in New York, and Jeff lives in New Jersey, and Mike lives in New Hampshire.
Okay.
So when we get together before a tour, and we rehearse for a week, and then we go right on tour. So we had a show up in New Hampshire. So we got up there and we rehearsed the night before, for 8 hours, and we just went for it and played it, a sold-out show, and it was awesome. It was awesome. The crowd loved it. We were actually surprised ourselves.
Well,
it's pretty cool.
It's got a hook to it. So I mean, once you get the first chorus of it, then people can probably sing it back on the second and third times. That's probably what they were doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were doing. And when we were in the studio, Eric's people are gonna love this hook. Right here, this is the hook that people are gonna be singing back, and that's exactly what happened. It was awesome. And
it's crazy, but in today's world, you almost need a hook to make something happen, don't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, and the funny thing is, we had another kind of a different part that we had written for that whoa part, the hooky part, and Eric's let's do this, because this is what will grab someone's attention. The other way was really cool too, but it's funny because he was when you go on tour, you have a split second to get someone to remember you, or remember that song, and that's what you need. You need to have something that's memorable. It's just the way it is, even in rock music.
Absolutely. Speaking of rock music, 2018, I thought it was a pretty good year for rock music for the most part. We saw some new up-and-coming artists out there. How about for you? Was there any new up-and-coming artists that you liked in 2018?
Up-and-coming artists. I'm trying to think of who I mean, obviously, I don't know if you guys know the band Siler, but we share a producer with them. They did a really awesome album when we were out in LA. That was pretty cool. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of cool new stuff. Octane plays a lot of new bands. No, I definitely think that music, especially like also female fronted bands, is kind of taking the forefront,
right?
Which is awesome. I mean, it's like 10 years ago, I would have never known. I would have never thought that this is like where rock would be.
Right.
And it's like a blessing. It's really awesome.
We talked about that 3 years ago because the female-fronted band was really starting to come on then, and now it's almost it's part of the rock music world now.
100%. Yep.
And
yeah, it's cool.
And it is. And, the one thing I know I mentioned last time is sometimes it gets kind of cookie cutter after a while, and like a lot of bands do, but you kind of have to find your own niche to stand out, don't you?
100%. Yeah. And like, I just feel like you have to be authentic and true to who you are. If you want to kind of use your sex sells kind of thing as what you do, go for it. But if you want to, appeal more to like just an everyday, this is who I am, go for that. So I feel like just being authentic to who you are is just kind of the way to go.
What about for touring in 2019? What are your plans for that?
We definitely want to get on the road. We're hoping for March, April time frame, and then we'll definitely be doing some festivals this summer. With Strung and with Blameshift, so we're just kind of locking all those good fun things in right now. We're going out to NAMM actually in January.
Okay.
In Anaheim, so that'll be fun, and we'll definitely be touring in 2019, without a doubt.
And hopefully coming to Minnesota in 2019.
Yes. Yeah.
We won't make you come in the winter time, but even though today is winter, it's like 40 degrees today. And it was funny because in October we were like barely 20, and now it's like it's becoming warm again for some odd reason.
I know, it's same by us. I know, 40 degrees, it's like you think it's warm, It's like
around here people are wearing shorts and T-shirts, and if you're down in Florida, it's 40 degrees. They are wearing parkas and stocking caps.
I know. Yep, exactly.
Hey, if we want to get more information about the band Blameshift, or for that matter about Get Strung, give us all those details once again.
Yeah, so you can definitely check out the bands on our Facebook, which is facebook.com/Blameshift, or on Instagram @Blameshift. Twitter, we're there. YouTube, we have a little video for our newest song, My Own Worst Enemy, so check that out. And then for Strung, we are on social media. We're at Strung Official. And our website is getstrung.com. We're running a bunch of sales. Feel free to hit us up on Facebook or Instagram if you want any, kind of discount codes or have any questions. And, I appreciate the support.
Awesome. And we'll have to do this quicker than 3 years, okay?
Yes, I promise.
Yes.
I promise.
And better yet, let's do it in person maybe in 2019 right here. That'd be good?
That sounds like a plan. That sounds like an awesome plan.
Hey, happy holidays to you and the band, and we hopefully will see you in 2019.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
Once again, that is Jenny Mann from the band Blameshift. Their latest song is called My Own Worst Enemy. You're hearing it right now. It's on The Dark. It's on FM94.